Hello and welcome. This is going to be a quick update on this tool that I've been creating over the past few weeks. And the tool that I frequently use in my trading, I finally just combined some of the signal that I see and use into a single indicator. And I just want to walk you guys through it and tell you what I'm going to do with it and how you can use it to help you with your trading. All right, so you all should have gotten an invite. If you didn't, just DM me your TradingView username and I'll add you to it. Later on, I think that I will publish this publicly. The code will still be private, but then I can actually sell it as a paid indicator because I think it's actually useful and I want to show you how. So it's actually a very simple indicator. We're just using the MACD and the RSI. We have some divergence being shown here and it works just the way you think it would. This is the divergence on the current time frame and it's being highlighted because divergence happens throughout this entire area here between this hump and this hump. You can see there's some divergence here. Price went higher up here and price is lower here, and on this hump it's higher and it's lower here. So there's divergence, and the line will indicate the first point of divergence. So it drops right there. Of course, there's divergence all the way through here, and you can see here this from this peak to this peak, there's divergence as well, and that's when it starts on this candle. So as soon as the candle goes into an area of divergence, this will pop up and it will start highlighting until this wave is done. You can see that here. So in this entire area, you'll notice that there's a divergence right here and the price went down immediately. Then it came up and it never came out of that divergence. So you had two spots to go short or go flat if you were in a long position. And same thing with here. We had divergence right away, went down, but then it continued to go higher. This is very useful if you do trade divergence. You will notice that sometimes it's not the best indication to take a trade. Like for example, right here, if you were to go short, you would lose that trade. So you also have to take into account that there's other factors here, and this is not the only tool I use. Otherwise, I would fully automate it and just trade it. So here I have a trend line that I drew, and trend lines themselves are difficult to automate. I haven't done that part, but here I drew this. Took me a second, then I could see that we broke out, so I wouldn't go short here. If I automated it, then yeah, that would be a losing trade, maybe break even, depending on the settings. Hard to know. Same thing with here. We got a buy signal. It went up, then it continued to come down. You could get out break even, depending on your stop and your profit. But I would say these are both losing trades, okay? And then I built in the multi-time frame. So we have, right now we're on the 4 hour, and it automatically goes up 2 time frames. So 1 day, 1 week. If we go down to the 1 hour, it'll show you the 60 period, 240, and 1 day. And here, it still draws the lines, but it only highlights based on the current time frame. So this line is thicker than this line right here, which is showing the 4 hour time frame. And if you remember, when we're on the 4 hour, there was this divergence. So those lines still show up, only the highlighting doesn't show up. And I tried to add in the highlighting, but it didn't look that good. It would just highlight all these candles. And there's really no way that I could think of for me to add highlighting without really muddying up the chart. And I want this to be simple. So I've just kept it as a thicker line. And then if this was a divergence in real time, then say if one of these, we're on this candle right here, like I can go back in the bar replay, for example, and it's going to show that there's bearish divergence of the 4 hour period. So if you're thinking about going long, you might wait for this to disappear. Okay. Now I was having problems with the bar replay. So if I press play, sometimes this will pop up. There's a memory limit. Pain in the butt, because in real time that doesn't happen if you let it just run. But for some reason on the lower time frames, that tends to happen. And like I said, the script's super simple, so I don't know what's going on, why there's a memory limit. Here it works on the 4 hour time frame, but on the lower time frames you can't. So here we're walking through on the 4 hour, it's showing that there's bearish divergence on the 1 hour, and then you can see the RSI as well here, and then it disappeared. So this will show you basically what's popping up here, and these RSI is showing up as a price on this as well. So this green line right here would be the 30 level if you had the RSI up, and this would be the 70. And then you can come into the settings here and switch it to ultra, which gives you the 80 and 90 levels. And I highlighted the 80s because they're like, price doesn't ever get down to 90. It does, but it's very rare. But at the 80 level, it's probably an area where you want to close your position or open up a new position, especially if you have that combined with some divergence. So here would be a great spot to go long, same as here. It's typical RSI. There's nothing special about this RSI. It just wraps around as bands, which can be useful because I don't want to have the RSI down here. I have this MACD I want to look at, or maybe I have something else. And the price is actually represents the value of the RSI. Now, I know that's a little bit confusing, but I'll show you relative strength index. For example, here, if you look at this line right here, this line represents the 70, and you look down here, the 70 here. So we've crossed over the 70, and you can see it's above it. The RSI is above it here. So the close of this bar actually represents the value of the RSI. And somewhere up here, we're close to 80. Here we passed 80. So you can look at this. We're at 81.88 on the RSI over here. So you can see we crossed above it there. And then now we crossed below this 70 line and so forth. So that's what that is. And this gray line is actually the 50 mark in the RSI, which actually tends to be a nice little moving average for price. I don't use it. I just left it in there. So that's this indicator basically in a nutshell. It's super simple. And then there's two trading modes, Scalp and Swing will filter out all of the big moves in the MACD. You can see here. Now the MACD is just big waves, and you'll get, let me turn this RSI bands off. You'll get bigger moves. So here we had these 2 points. There was divergence detected right here, and you could have taken that long trade and held it for as long as you wanted. I mean, this should work on all the assets. If I went to futures or stocks, try that here. We have divergence all the way through here. That would have been a losing trade. Maybe in the beginning it would have been okay. I mean, even that's a larger divergence here as well. You can see if we look at this peak and then over here, there's divergence. I've been finding that the scalping divergences are better, at least in crypto. We're getting some decent signals here, some that are losing, some that aren't. I guess it all depends on what you're trading. If you're trading something trending like NVIDIA, then you might want to only trade in the direction it's going. Let's see, Google, lots of patterns here. Yeah, anyways, that's this indicator. It's working for me. It is working for me, but I do suggest you use other levels of confluence and other technical indicators when you're trading. Don't use this blindly, but use it to help you. Okay. So if you guys have any questions or want me to add other things in this, I will do my best. Thank you.